Also, even with those involved in inflicting harm to others, there are mothers, wives, daughters that are affected also. So our condolences go out to the family members everyone who has been affected by this tragedy. Our investigative team did an amazing job making sure that we got all of our resources working together with our partners to try to figure out where the vehicle was, where the suspect was, and it took us to the Fort Pierce area. That's where the majority of our concentration was. The U.S. Marshal's Office, along with our partners over there, made it very, very clear that we needed to have all hands on deck. Our resources, our fugitive unit actually traveled back and forth every night from the Fort Pierce area. But a jogger who happened to be walking by where the vehicle was located, spotted the vehicle, spotted something suspicious, and called the Fort Pierce Police Department. The Fort Pierce Police Department is now conducting a death investigation based on the body that was found inside the car. Under Armour has been absolutely amazing when it comes to the support they have provided to us, making sure that all the information that we needed as far as employees and the safety of the employees, that was their #1 priority, so kudos to them. Premium Outlets, the security team there also has made it they made themselves available to us for everything and anything that we did during this investigation. The employees, of course, the stores, many of them in the Central Florida region were closed for a while. That was a corporate decision. We believe that those stores will be opening soon. So at this point, we're very confident that the person we were looking for has been located. It's unfortunate that it had to end this way, but want to give thanks to you also, the media, that made it possible for us to share information and push that information out with our citizens. With that, if you have any questions, we'll answer them now.
So, Chief, this jogger, when did you find out that the jogger found the vehicle and what happened?
So, Teresa?
So we were notified within the last, I would say, 90 minutes or so that they believed that they had the vehicle. The vehicle was locked. I spoke personally with the detective on scene, and we were able to confirm just by exchanging information that it was Mr. Everett. And then our immediate priority was to get to his wife and daughter. Yes, Detective Eason and I just met with them not long ago and notified them in person. And obviously we wanted this to end without further loss of life. The goal was always to bring Mr. Everett into custody safely. We feel terrible for his family, and they are shattered. There are no families here. All these families are affected. There are no winners here. So this is tragic for everyone involved, for everyone who was there that night, for all the employees that were on the list, and for Mr. Everett's family. It's a tragic end for everyone. Go ahead.
Since Monday night?
We believe there.
Like at a hotel, a motel, or something?
We're not exactly sure, but it does appear that he's been there for several days.
Just to clarify,
It's possible. It's possible. The medical examiner hopefully will be able to answer that. But it does appear that he has been in that area at least since Monday around 9:46 p.m., which we released to you earlier, and it's possible that not long after that he may have ended his own life.
The fact like we had like different pictures with different clothes, what's that mean? Did he change his clothes?
Yes, ma'am. Between the morning and the evening, yes, ma'am.
So the picture of him in the dark colored shirt, that's from the morning?
That's from the morning. That was when he was terminated. And then the evening pictures are from when he was inside the store during the shooting.
Is that a picture of him holding the gun?
Yes, ma'am.
So that was immediately before the actual shooting?
Depending on which picture, one was before, one was after.
Did you have any real sense that he was out to hurt anybody else after what happened?
We have reason to believe that he had intentions to harm others. As a matter of fact, there was another employee inside of the store that when he killed the first victim, we believe he looked for that employee knowing that the employee was supposed to or was scheduled to be inside of the store. What we have learned during this investigative process was that the employee was at an extended lunch break, therefore was not where they were supposed to be when he came in. So the list that later on we became aware of, that employee was listed. He actually walked by some other employees during this incident. So it was very critical, very important for us to locate him as soon as possible because of the fear that maybe there could be further action.
Was that the employee who alleged that he hit her?
No.
I'm not aware of that, so no.
No.
What made you think that he was looking for that other employee? Did he say something?
Speaking with the investigator, obviously the lead investigator a little while ago, he did certain things while he was in that store. He had knowledge of how the process works in the store and where the employees should be during that process. And we believe he made it a point to go where that employee should have been at that particular time when he was inside the store. The fact that the employee was also listed on the list was of great concern.
Do you know why he might have been in Fort Pierce?
We don't.
No,
Not
we don't.
Not right now. And that's part of our investigation with Fort Pierce and what led him there, and that's one of the questions we have as well, is why that area, and we'll work with his family and friends and try and determine if that's what happened. And the employee who was, we think he was looking for was out in the mall and on her dinner break. And that was probably the only reason that she wasn't able to be targeted.
Any idea how long this plan was in the works?
I think probably just that day during termination. Termination was in the morning, and it looked like it weighed on him pretty heavily during the day, and the decision and the plan was formulated during the day at some point.
Had anybody seen the farewell email prior to him going into the store? And
No, the email was sent out at 8:01 p.m. and we got the call for the shooting at 8:07. We believe he entered the store around 8:02, 8:03. So no one had read the email before the shooting occurred.
No other prior signs of threats or violence?
Nothing. Nothing. You know, the termination was even a surprise to the people on the list. They did not know he was going to be terminated that morning.
speaking to his mom, speaking to a former employer of his, a friend of his, everybody's shocked. I mean, is there anything that points to this as a man that was just gonna snap?
Nothing. His wife's been with him 20 years. She is devastated. This is so removed from his character, and everyone that we've spoken to that knows him has said that as well. She's shattered, as is his daughter.
Is there a takeaway from this?
Chief, you want to speak on that?
You know, it goes to show how unpredictable situations can sometimes be. Here you have an individual who, by all accounts, there is not even the remote sign of something like this ever happening. Sometimes life brings surprises, and this is one of those that I think, since he has now passed, we will all be wondering what triggered it, what made this individual do this that affected so many. The victim that died as a result of his actions, and now his family suffering the consequences of his actions. Is a very tragic situation, and just like Detective Sprague mentioned, it's not a win-win, you know, for anyone. It's a loss for everyone. I'm sorry. But before I finish, you know, obviously locally, Orange County, Osceola Sheriff's Office, Kissimmee PD, St. Cloud, the U.S. Marshal's Office, Fort Pierce PD now helping us with the investigation, St. Lucie County Sheriff's Office, Ocoee. There's so many agencies, and I'm sure I'm forgetting something. But the men and women of the Orlando Police Department, our fugitive unit, our detectives, our sergeant for our detective unit, everyone, a lot of hours into this case, very little sleep in the process. An awesome job by everyone who assisted during this process.
Okay. I don't know if anyone had said it. I was just wanting to know exactly where the car was. Was it like in a parking lot?
So we're going to allow the St. Lucie County, I'm sorry, Fort Pierce PD, they're dealing with the death investigation. They're going to put out a media release with those details, and I'm sure that they'll disclose exactly where that car was. All right?
What did the Vasquez family have to say?
I'm sure they're devastated. But I'm sure that they're also in one way, in a way, they're probably somewhat more at ease now, knowing that we have found some closure to the investigative process, trying to locate them. But this is going to haunt them for a very long time. So,
Have you been in contact with, I know his mother lives up north, have you been in contact with her?
just a few minutes ago, it's one of our priorities whenever we have a situation like this, that everyone that we can reach is notified before we put the information out. And we were just doing that. And unfortunately, the number that we had somehow or another now is not working. It's not connecting. But we were hoping to connect with her before the press conference took place.
And this
Thank you very much,
email,
everybody.
Real quick, the farewell email, you're saying it went out to Under Armour employees at 8?
No, I didn't say that.
No,
So,
no, and we'll get you the exact time. I believe it was 8:01 p.m.
Okay, all right. I've seen it, and it looked like it might have been sent out in the afternoon, but that's.
No, it was,
He may have sent it to himself.
yeah, maybe send it to his own email. Okay.
And then forward it to everyone at 8:01.
Mhm. So, and we'll get you, the chief will get you an exact time on that.
again, thank you very much.